charges. If, on the other hand, we reset for trial. If you're a defendant who is in the courtroom or on Zoom, also please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, whether virtually or in person, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, most of you should already know who your attorney is. Otherwise, we will appoint one to represent you. And again, if you are on Zoom, no walking around. We don't allow people to walk around a courtroom. Please do not walk around while on Zoom. I'm going to start with my show cause calendar just to see if these folks have appeared. Sulaiman Abdullahi. Sulaiman Abdullahi, if you are on Zoom, good time to unmute and say you're present. If you're in the courtroom, no? Okay, not present again. Prosecutors, we will address bench warrants for the person's arrest at the second calendar call. April Brooks. April Brooks. Not present. Rodney Brown. Rodney Brown. Not present. Mr. Brown's got 1, 2 cases. Joseph Carter. Joseph Carter. DeMarcus Dewberry, middle name Antonio. DeMarcus Antonio Dewberry. Latoya Dixon. All right, Miss Dixon has taken a plea in this case, so this case is closed out. Position 7. Johnny Dubé or Dubé, Johnny Allen Dubé. Not present. Stephanie Giles. Stephanie Giles. Not present. Daniel Humbry. Yes, Mr. Haddad. Miss Helen has taken leave of absence. However, her client's required to appear.
We've not had any contact. His position wasn't in flow.
All right. Position 10 is not present through position 12. Lamore Charles Jack. Lamore Charles Jack.
Master Judge, this public defender case, there's not been any, even noted back then.
Noted. Brandon Johnson. Brandon.
I'm sorry, I could not hear Mr. Haddad. Can you repeat that, please?
On position 13, he did not appear the last time. We've not had any contact with him.
Okay, thank you. The next 4 cases is for Brandon Rashawn Johnson. No bueno. Okay. Aisha Thomas. Aisha Thomas. Did I hear someone on Zoom?
I'm present.
All right. Ms. Thomas, you were supposed to show up in court in person and you need your video on. There is a bench warrant that might be issued against you for failure to appear the last proceeding.
Yes, ma'am.
Who's your attorney?
My attorney was Jim Jurgen. I had some financial challenges, so I'm requesting an extension so that I can be able to either re-engage Mr. Jurgen or work with a public defender if.
All right, please put your name and the phone and your phone number in the chat. And Mr. Haddad, who is our public defense counsel in the courtroom, will reach out to you. You are not allowed to leave until we get somewhere with your case. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
On the final plea calendar, Jerome Aneki, Mr. Brandon Rosenblum, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, I just need to speak to my client first. I believe we can resolve this case today.
All right. Where is Mr. Aneki?
He's online, Your Honor.
Present.
All right. Mr. Glanville, please place Mr. Rosen. Oh, you have another case. Hang on. Gentry Arnett, Mr. Weintraub, that's the case we just addressed, correct?
To do a plea at the end of your count.
All right, thank you.
I
Oh,
also
by the
have-
way, before I forget, Al Williams, is he present?
He is,
Very good,
Judge.
excellent. And any announcement, Mr.
Judge, he does qualify for the Service Public Defender's Office. We're requesting resetting it to August 2nd, Judge, so I'll have the
All right.
opportunity to review the discovery.
Mr. Al Williams, thank you for appearing. Your next court date is going to be August 2nd at 9 a.m. Exactly at 9 a.m. And you have to be in this location. No more Zoom for you. Zoom and you don't get along. Do you understand? Right here, right where you're seated. I'll see you on August 2nd, and you and your attorney will tell me what you want to do.
Thank you, Judge.
All right? Reset August 2nd, final plea calendar. Thank you. You're free to go now. And this is going to be a plea for Mr. Arnett. And is he on Zoom? Mr. Weintraub? Oh, he's here. All right, thank you. Robert Benson Jr.
Same announcement, Your Honor. I just need to speak to Mr. Benson.
All right. Okay, and those are your two cases, right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Glanville, please place Attorney Brandon Rosenblum in a breakout session, and we will first send position 1, Mr. Jerome Anaki, into a breakout. And Mr. Anaki, you will see a message on your screen to join a breakout. After that, Mr. Rosenblum, please please chat to Mr. Glanville and let him know to put in position 3, okay? Mutahir Chowdhury, Attorney Perez.
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Mr. Chowdhury is present by Zoom. Your Honor, we were in contact with Ms. Waldrop, and I believe Ms. Sarita may possibly be handling the case now, and I just need a few minutes to speak with her, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Haddad for Megan Constanza Eberhard.
Yes, Judge.
Megan, is she on the Zoom? Megan Constanza Eberhard?
Judge, I received a couple emails, not directly to me, but she apparently is sick and on the way to the hospital. I've not had any confirmation as to where and what, Judge.
Okay, I'm going to put down as not present, and then we'll need verification of that. Otherwise, please let her know it could be a bench warrant.
Understood, Judge.
Ethan Craig?
Good afternoon,
Ethan,
Your
all
Honor.
right.
I'm Elwanger here on that case. He is present and we have submitted plea paperwork.
Yes, we do. Thank you. All right, we'll be doing a plea on position 6. Mary Lola Figueredo, Mr. Corey Yeager. Attorney Corey Yeager for Mary Lola Figaro. Like the opera.
He and I have been playing phone tag. Let me try to give him a call.
It appears that she's on, Judge.
Mr. Yeager, I can see you, but we can barely hear you. All right, I'm just going to note you down as present.
I'm on the Zoom. Can you hear me, Judge?
Oh, loud and clear. Thank you. What's the announcement?
Your Honor, I'd like to pre-try that with Ms. Sarita, and pending a different offer, we would announce that we're rejecting the current offer, ready for trial, subject to my filed leave and subject to motions.
All right, thank you. Position 8 is already been resolved by a plea this morning. Position 9, Jesse Gill. Jesse Gill.
Here. I'm here.
All right, let's change that name from Jesse Gill, from iPhone to Jesse Gill. Mr. Gill, who is your attorney?
I don't think I have one.
All right, this was reset for a final plea and you're supposed to be here in person. So I'm going to give you 1 hour to come down to 160 Prior Street in courtroom G33. Understood?
I'm in Mississippi.
Please hold.
Your Honor, I'm ready for Mr. Benson.
All right, Mr. Glanville, could you place Mr. Benson in a breakout with Mr. Rosenblum? Mr. Gill, please mute your screen. Matrice Griffin, excuse me?
Present.
All right, Mr. Griffin, who's your attorney?
Dwight Johnson, Your Honor.
All right, sir, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, I've got a motion to dismiss the DUI. This was supposed to be put on a status calendar.
You're dismissing it because it's not on the status calendar?
No. I filed a motion to dismiss the DUI because it's out of the statute. And
All right, we'll take that up shortly. Right now, I'm just getting, so this is a motion.
Your
So-
Honor, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna actually ask if we can have just one final reset on this. I'm still doing additional research, and if we could get one final reset, hopefully we can get this resolved.
This is further notice to the motions calendar. Mr. Johnson, you will get a notice to come back to court. This will be an in-person appearance only to address whatever y'all want to address in addition to the motion to dismiss.
Okay.
All right? And I
Thank
said
you.
this is in person, so please make note of that. And you all will get notice of the court date. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rodriguez Hendricks. Mr. Haddad?
Your Honor, that would be my case. I've not had any contact with, so unless he's on Zoom.
Crossing fingers and toes. Mr. Rodriguez Hendricks. No? All right, not present. Christopher.
You right here.
Hey,
Why are you waving your arms?
because I'm present.
And what's your name?
Rodriguez
You're
Hendricks.
supposed to be in the courtroom on a final plea calendar. Even if you got a Zoom link. All right, please hold. And tell your friend to go put on a shirt.
Oh, shit. Oh.
All right, go ahead and mute iPhone and rename this to Rodriguez Hendricks. Thank you. Position 12, Christopher Hodge. Miss McLeod or conflict? Christopher Hodge. Oh, I'm sorry, this was reset to June 7. So, all right. Rodney Howard.
Your Honor, Mr. Howard is present. Stand up, Mr. Howard. Your Honor, at this point, we're gonna maintain a not guilty plea and request that goes, I guess, maybe go back to division, whatever is needed to be done, Judge.
Not guilty, further notice for trial. We were going to issue a case management order. And Mr. Howard, your case is going to be reset for a jury trial. We will issue a case management order and you will be given notice of when to come back to court for trial. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Donna Johnson, Mr. Childress, I thought I saw him somewhere. There he is.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How are we proceeding?
We're gonna continue to try to work with Ms. Sarita to resolve this short of a trial, but
All right.
at this point, we're not able to do that. So we're gonna change our plea to not guilty and ask to be.
All right. This is going to be a not guilty. I'm assuming this case has already been arraigned. Let me just check and see. A case management order will issue. And the case will be further noticed for trial. Just give me a moment to hold this and see what's going on here. June 14. All right, looks like the case was arraigned on December 15th, 2021, and your client waived a jury trial. Did he want a jury trial now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, I'm sorry, Ms. Johnson.
Miss.
So this is going to be further notice for a jury trial, case management order to issue.
Is now a good time to request that be a date certain because my client currently is 4 time zones away. She's in Alaska and
No. No date certain, not at the present time.
Okay.
All right. Thank
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
Mr. Childress. Did you
Yes,
have
ma'am.
another case?
no, ma'am,
All
not
right.
today.
You're free to go. Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
for your courtesy and I'll try to catch up with you, Ms. Sarita.
All right.
if we
Thank you.
Proceed. Thank you.
Quincy Johnson, Attorney Ricardo Mosey.
Yes, ma'am.
All
Good
right.
afternoon, Your Honor. Ricardo
afternoon.
from Mr. Johnson. He is here as well.
Where?
He's there with the blue shirt and the glasses, Quincy J.
All right, got to see him. Yes, sir.
All right, Judge. Well, this is an older case, as I'm sure you know, because of the calendar that it's on, but we thought it was for status. We have asked for discovery as far back as 2021. And and if I say your name improperly, please correct me. Ms. Gathea and my staff did I get that right, Ms. Gathea?
Close, get the air.
Get the air. I'm sorry. So she did respond, and I know that there's an outstanding video, so we're just not ready at this time. I would ask that it be further noticed.
It's further notice to the next final plea calendar, which is August 2nd at 9 a.m. And both you and Mr. Johnson will have to appear in person.
Absolutely, Judge.
And Mr. Mosby, can you just follow up with me in maybe 2 weeks about those videos?
Absolutely. I sure will. I'll reach out to you probably early next week so we can kind of talk a little bit about it. We can get it resolved.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you,
Moving
Judge.
on.
May I be excused?
Yes, sir. You and your client are free to go.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good weekend. Happy
You
Mother's Day.
too. Devontae Jones. Devontae Jones. Devontae Jones. Not present. Chelsea Mack, Attorney Mark Hines.
My piece of new paperwork online. Negotiated plea.
All right, could you,
That's my case, Your Honor.
do you have the plea paperwork, Ms. Kassidakis?
We submitted to state ORCA.
I have a copy here.
All right, I don't have one. So yeah, it would be helpful if you have the copy and we'll use that. All right, sir, have a seat and we will take this position up for a plea. Amira Mann, Mr. Murphy, yes, sir.
My client's here, Judge, we'll be maintaining our not guilty plea.
All right. Let me just check one thing, Mr. Murphy. Will you be filing a waiver of arraignment?
Look, that may have been in there a while ago.
I didn't see one, so that's why I'm asking.
It started out in Nader's.
Oh, hang on. Just 1 second, please. Yeah, looks like something is it buried in one document?
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Section C, waiver of formal arraignment. Got it. Thank you. All right. This case, we're going to issue a case management order. It's reset for a jury trial. And Ms. Mann, you and your attorney are going to come back to court for your jury trial. Please make sure that your current address and contact information are on the file. All right. You're both free to go. Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Thank you. Amanda Mills.
Yes, Judge, just my case is gonna be a plea. Miss Mills is on Zoom in the orange shirt and the attorney is present.
All right. Miss Mills is on Zoom. Okay, I see you. Thank you. Jorge Perucho Flores.
That's my case, Your Honor. It's gonna be a plea. The attorney's here
Okay.
and we're waiting for the interpreter. Is that right? Spanish
It's a
interpreter?
plea subject to the availability of an interpreter.
Mr. Glanville will need a Spanish interpreter, either Miss Lucia or Miss Chauncey, if they happen to be available in the courthouse, that would be great. All right, please hold and we'll see if we get one. Thank you. David Rivers.
That's my case also. It's gonna be a plea. The paperwork is gonna be completed shortly, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Rivers was on, and I'm just getting calls from him. I'm guessing he got disconnected, but I'll call him, Judge, and
All right.
find out what's going on. But that's gonna be plea.
All right.
He's
wondering
connecting
where-
right now.
All right, thank you, Mr. Glanville. Notorious Rosser.
That's my case, Judge. It's going to be a plea. The attorney's on Zoom and the paperwork has been submitted to state ORCA.
All right, Mr. Cameron Sally.
Yes, Judge.
All right.
I'm here, present.
All right, thank you. Christian Shell.
That's my case. It's going to be a plea.
Christian Shell, is he on Zoom or in the courtroom?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, let's change his name from Zoom user to Christian Shell. And where is your attorney, Travis Toe?
I
Yep.
thought he was gonna be on Zoom.
No, you're supposed to be here in person.
I talked to him last night.
Could you call
Well-
him and let him know that he needs to be here? Otherwise, we have a problem.
Okay, I'll send him a text.
No, call him. Call him, email him. I don't care what you use, a pigeon, whatever you do, but he needs to be contacted. Please mute your screen and contact him. Marie Shackelford, leave of absence was filed.
Ms. Shackelford, Judge,
Oh, this is for PD, yeah.
yes.
Marie Shackelford, are you present? All right, not present. Keba Toure. Is that your client too?
Yes, Judge.
Or if you hear your name called in a courtroom, you normally stand up and say, I am what? Present. Okay, good. Thank
Judge,
you.
we're just gonna plead him not guilty.
All right. And this case has been arraigned?
I'm sure it has. It was on a trial calendar,
Okay.
probably back in 2022. So.
All right, we'll issue another case management order. This case is going to be further notice for a jury trial. Mr. Toure, your attorney is Mr. Jawan Haddad. Stand up. You look way too relaxed. Your attorney is Mr. Haddad. You're going to come back to court for a jury trial. Make sure that you keep in communication with the defense attorney because you need to be prepared for trial. You're free to go. Chauncey Turner. Chauncey Turner, all right, Mr. Turner is present in the courtroom. Who's your attorney? Where is she? She was here last night? All right, you're gonna step outside and call her. She needs to be present. Kevin Ventries. Attorney
I'm
Brian
present.
Howard.
I'm present.
Oh, all right, Mr. Ventris, where's your attorney?
Judge, hi, Judge Law. It's Attorney Arca from Mr. Howard.
Oh, Mr. Arca, okay.
Yes,
Gotcha.
Judge, I forgot that this was on for final plea. My partner and I got out of a vehicular homicide case in Gwinnett Superior late last night. Verdict came in. I completely forgot that I was supposed to do this in person. I have another aggravated battery case that's going out on Monday. I don't usually go ahead and ask you for extensions, Judge. Is there any way we can go ahead and continue this to an in-person plea date?
Yes, August 2nd
August 2nd would be great, Judge.
at 9 a.m. And Mr. Ventris, this is in person, which means that you'll have to come down to the courthouse and your attorney is going to put a big sticky reminder on his calendar that he needs to be here too. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you,
Okay.
Judge. You know, I don't usually
Thank-
make excuses.
I know, you don't worry about it. Till you take care. All right, Mr.
Thank you, Judge. I
Ventris, Mr.
appreciate it.
Arca, you're free to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Terrell Williams.
All right.
All right, there he is.
Pre-trial judge.
All right. This is 28 present. And Mr. Williams is further notice for trial. All right. Is there a defendant in the courtroom whose name was not called?
Me.
All right. Is there a defendant on Zoom whose name was not called?
Your Honor, Mr. Rivers is raising his hand.
I
think
can
you-
see that. Mr. Rivers?
We got this, he dropped off when the court called his
Ah,
name.
okay.
Mr. Rivers announced to the court that we're anticipating a plea. Please check your email because I have an update on there.
Okay.
All right. Please
Thank you,
mute your
Judge.
screen, Mr. Rivers. He's noted as present.
And Your Honor, can I revisit a case from
Sure.
court's
Which
permission?
one?
Judge, position number 9, Mr. Gill, I believe he did not qualify the last time in
Okay.
court. Just want to let the court know. He's a gentleman in Mississippi, apparently.
Understood. Thank you. Is there anyone else on Zoom who is a defendant or a defense counsel? I believe I called your name, Figaro or Figueredo, and raising your hand doesn't do anything. We need to hear you. Is your
Oh.
audio connected?
It is, and I apologize. I was on at 1:30 and I got booted off. So you may
Okay.
have called me while I was trying to reconnect, but I am present. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got you noted, and I think your attorney is Mr. Yeager for position 7, and your
Correct.
attorney is going to be talking to the prosecutor. So please mute and hold.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right.
Judge, did you address Cedric Edwards, position 10 from the AM calendar?
Position 10. I think Matrice Griffin, is that what you're talking about?
Cedric Edwards, Your Honor.
Cedric Edwards. All right, Cedric Edwards, I've got him as. I don't have a Cedric Edwards.
He's from the AM calendar.
Oh, from the morning calendar.
Yes, ma'am.
I've been trying to learn how to work this thing, but I just figured it out.
Okay. All right, Mr. Cedric Edwards, you did not appear at 9 a.m. and a bench warrant has been issued for your arrest with a $2,000 surety bond. Who's your attorney?
I think her name Mariah Williams.
All right, and where's your attorney?
I don't know.
All right, well, that's the current status of your.
I've been trying to call her, man.
I'm just letting you know, you did not show up in court and a bench warrant has been issued. So I'm going to put you on the list to speak with the public defense attorney. Do not leave. This is position 10 from the, I guess, from the morning calendar.
Mr. Edwards, if you can put your phone number on the chat.
All right, put your phone number and name in the chat. Please mute your screen. You'll have a chance to speak to the public defense and we'll see how your case moves forward. Thank you. All right, I'm going to take a couple of pleas right now for this calendar. So those of you who are waiting to speak to the public defense attorney, please hold. And let's begin with. Yeah, okay. Ms. Githia, who's your first case on the list for a plea?
Position number 1, Jerome Aneki.
All right,
I don't know
Mr.
if you have his
Rosenblum?
paperwork yet.
Do we have the paperwork yet?
Oh, yes, it's been completed. Yes, it's been completed.
Mr. Rosenblum, has your client submitted the paperwork?
I signed on his behalf, Your Honor.
Why don't I have it?
Sounds like a DWAP.
It came, no, it's not. It's showing completed, but it's not, it didn't pop up on my end either.
Mr. Rosenblum, we don't have the paperwork. So either your client shows up in the courtroom in person.
My client's here, Your Honor, and we signed the paperwork, so I'm not sure.
Okay, whatever you sent it to, it did not go through. So we'll need you to resend that email. You can send it to kenneth.randolph@fultoncountyga.gov.
Bear with me just one moment.
All right, so we're going to hold off on that while we're waiting. Let's address position number 2. Is that you too, Ms. Githia? Arnett Gentry or Gentry Arnett?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Oh, I'm about to email Mr. Aneki's signed documents.
Okay. You ready, sir?
Yes, I am.
All right, if your client would like to come up to the podium right here, if y'all like to walk around behind the thing, yeah.
That's Mr. Aneki, Your Honor.
No, this is Mr. Gentry Arnett, represented by attorney Howard Weintraub, and he's going to appear at the podium.
If you can give me
Pardon the
1 second, I'm
interruption, Your
about to
Honor.
forward this over. Just 1 second.
Mr. Benson, can you give me permission to sign upon your behalf? Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, this is case 21 CR 001-003G, State versus Gentry Arnett, who is present in the courtroom along with his counsel, Mr. Howard Weintraub. Mr. Arnett was originally cited for too fast for conditions, failure to maintain lane or improper lane change, possession of an open alcohol container, and driving under the influence of alcohol less safe. Mr. Arnett, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Weintraub. May I place you under oath for purposes of the plea? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And Ms. Githia, what are the what charges are we proceeding on?
The DUI alcohol less safe.
Too fast for conditions?
Conditions and possession of open alcohol container.
All right, and the improper lane change is going to be null prost?
Yes, failure to maintain lane will be dismissed, yes.
All right, okay, and what is the recommendation for Mr. Gentry? Oh, Mr. Arnett, excuse me.
For the DUI alcohol less safe is 12 months to serve 24 hours, credit for time served 24 hours, balance probated to pay a $500 fine, to do 40 hours of community service, a risk reduction program, alcohol drug evaluation and any required treatment, want to attend 1 victim impact panel and license forfeiture. The too fast for conditions, 12 months probation, concurrent to the DUI, and the possession of open alcohol container, a $200 fine. Does the defense stipulate to the facts, and the failure to maintain lane will be dismissed. Does the defense stipulate to the facts, venue, and ID?
Yes, ma'am.
And I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Arnett, do you have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
I take a prescription for my back.
Okay. Are you still able to understand the proceedings after consuming that medication?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take this plea offer today?
No, ma'am.
And I keep wanting to call your first name your last name, so I can.
Happens all the time.
Mr. Arnett, have you and your attorney gone over the documents with regards to your waiver of rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you plead guilty today, you would have to waive your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury?
Yes, ma'am.
You will not have the opportunity to go back to court with your counsel, to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, present any arguments or defenses, and have the state carry the burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to do so?
Yes, ma'am.
And has it been explained that a DUI conviction will have an impact upon any other open cases you have, upon your residency if applicable, upon your job?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you still willing to proceed with the plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to 1 count of driving under the influence of alcohol less safe?
Your Honor, before we make that announcement, as we had discussed in the breakout room conference back on April 5, the state would oppose the entry of either a nolo plea, and I think they would oppose an entry of a plea under Alfred. For the circumstances that we had discussed, which also we appreciate that, which resulted in that limited permit extension, we would respectfully, and I know the state opposes it, respectfully ask either for a plea under nolo contendere or a plea under North Carolina versus Alfred.
Ms. Githia, what's the state's position on a request for a nolo or an Alfred plea?
The state objects to a nolo The state has no objection on the Alfred.
All right, we will take this under an Alfred plea.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, again, in terms of the Alfred plea, how do you plead to DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol less safe?
How do I, just guilty?
Guilty.
You just say guilty under Alfred.
Okay.
Okay, and how do you plead to too fast for conditions? Really, you're gonna use an Alfred plea for that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, okay. And how are you gonna plead to possession of an open alcohol container?
Guilty
Under
Alfred.
Okay, all right, sir. On the DUI alcohol, less safe, your sentence is 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day. You're gonna be on probation, and since he's out of state, right?
We live in Perry, well, actually Kathleen, Georgia. We moved from the Alpharetta area. Well, my client did. I would like the record to reflect, please, Your Honor, his current address is 2350 Houston Lake Road, Kathleen, Georgia, 31047.
Okay,
I had told you it was Perry, but I think technically it's Kathleen.
okay. He's gonna be on probation.
Yes, ma'am.
His first visit must be in person, and that's gonna be on Tuesday, May 14th, before 3 p.m. And he will need to report at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta before 3 p.m. next Tuesday. After that, I will allow for telephonic reporting.
Thank you.
Okay, he will be granted a limited permit. He will need to surrender his driver's license, and then we can give him an affidavit of first conviction. And the limited permit, as agreed to, he will have additional driving extensions.
Your Honor, excuse me, can we surrender our license today and receive that first offense affidavit?
As soon as as soon as we're done, Mr. Randolph will provide you the affidavit in exchange for the
Thank you.
driver's license. Okay. In addition to the telephonic reporting, Mr. Arnett, you will have to pay a $500 fine plus court costs, surcharges, and probation fees. You will need to complete 40 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency, normally designated a 501c agency, but it cannot be a church and it cannot be a school, or it cannot be a religious institution like a synagogue or a temple or so forth. But it can be like the Salvation Army, Goodwill, food banks, and so forth. You will need to complete a risk reduction program and undergo an alcohol and drug evaluation and submit yourself to any treatment that's required. If you're already submitted seeking treatment, you still need to show a current evaluation, all right?
Yes.
You also need to attend and complete 1 victim impact panel, and you need to make arrangements with your probation officer of where you need to go to attend that victim impact panel program. As I said, your license will be suspended in accordance with the Department of Driver Services regulations, but you will be granted a limited permit. On the too fast for conditions, it's going to be 12 months probation, similar to count 1, concurrent to the DUI charge. On the possession of an open alcohol container is going to be an additional $200 fine. So once the fine is paid, that closes out your sentence for the open alcohol container. The failure to maintain lane charge is going to be null prost. Anything else, sir?
Your Honor, just for the record, we will submit next week the proof of risk reduction program, the 1 victim impact panel. And he'll present that to his probation officer next week. And we do have an adult driving back down to Kathleen today.
Okay, but he'll need to be back next week for his first visit.
We understand.
All right. All right, sir. Anything else?
No, ma'am, and I
right.
appreciate working with you and the state on this case.
All right, Mr. Weintraub, Mr. Arnett, good luck.
Nice to see you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
if y'all like to wait in the gallery, as soon as the affidavit of first conviction is ready, Mr. Randolph will call you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Randolph, I think the second page of the disposition also needs to be filled out at the bottom. Okay. There we go, no worries. There we go.
Can I make a couple announcements?
Yes, just give me a moment to
Absolutely, sir.
catch up with the paperwork and then.
I apologize.
Yes, Mr. Haddad, what's your announcement?
Your Honor, I'm sorry, on the final plea, position number 28, Terrell Williams.
Yep.
He's physically in the courtroom, Judge.
Okay,
We're gonna maintain a not guilty plea, Judge.
all right. Mr. Terrell Williams? All right, your attorney is going to enter a not guilty plea. I'm assuming this case has been arraigned. All right, this case also involves a firearm, so Mr. Williams, please understand that you're not allowed to own any firearms, be in possession of them, or have one living with you at home. All right? Your next court date is going to be sent to you for a jury trial, and a case management order will issue today. All right, you're free to go. Thank you.
Your Honor,
Any, yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
On the show cause, Judge, position number 18, Aisha Thomas, who's on Zoom, Judge. She does qualify.
Okay.
I'm gonna request a reset for August 2nd, and I just want to let the court know that the notices that were sent to the show cause also showed the option of Zoom, apparently.
Well, they do, unless they were told in court to appear in person.
Right, so anyway, I just want to let the court know as to why she's not.
Understood.
Anyway, so I would request, Judge, if we can set it for August 2nd, so give me time to review the
Certainly.
discovery. Thank you so much, Judge.
Aisha Thomas. Aisha Thomas.
Yes,
All
I'm
right.
here.
Ms. Thomas, your next court date is August 2nd, 2024 at 9 a.m.
Okay.
You are required to show up in court in person. Can you please switch off your TV or video, please? Why would somebody be watching TV during a court?
I'm not watching TV. I'm not watching TV, ma'am. I'm so sorry.
All right.
I'm on a Teams call.
You're on a what call?
There was a Teams call playing in the background.
Teams, Microsoft Teams. Judge.
So August
Okay,
2nd.
Ms. Thomas, next court date is in person. You are not allowed to appear by Zoom, even though you get a Zoom link. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
August
Completely.
2nd, 2024 at 9 a.m. You're free to go.
Thank you, Judge. You have a great day. Thank you.
You too. Anything else?
No, Judge, just all
All
the
right.
announcements that I have so far.
Okay. Whose plea paperwork do I have? Let's start with Ethan Craig.
Your Honor, Mr. Position number 1 paperwork has come through.
Okay, I haven't got it yet, so I'll call it as soon as I see the paperwork in front of me. Okay?
Okay.
Ethan Craig.
Present.
We're here,
Your Honor. We're ready.
I'm sorry, Ms. Elwanger? Okay. Thank you. Okay, this is position 6 on the calendar. This is case 21 CR 003-838G. Mr. Ethan Craig is present on Zoom. Notorious Rosser, please stop walking. You are in court. You're not supposed to be walking around. Sit down. Thank you. Or stop your video until your case is called. Where's Ethan Craig? I'm sorry, Mr. Elwanger. I've got a lot of Zoom panels, so I'm trying to find him.
I understand. He has on a gray shirt and a
There you go. Okay, if you hear your name called, please say hello, because otherwise I lose you in the sea of faces on my screen. All right.
Yes, ma'am. My apologies.
Appreciate it. Mr. Craig, your case is 21 CR 003-838G. You were accused of speeding, driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, and driving under the influence of alcohol per se. You have been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Elwanger. This is going to be a negotiated plea hearing, so Mr. Craig, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Thank you. Ms. Githia or Ms.
That's mine, Your Honor.
All right. What are the terms, please?
The DUI alcohol less safe will be amended to reckless driving. And it's the 12 months probation, a $500 fine, 40 hours of community service, a risk reduction panel, an alcohol drug evaluation and any required treatment, and to attend one victim impact panel. The speeding is 12 months probation to run concurrently to the reckless. And the DUI alcohol per se will be dismissed. And the state has no objection to probation going to non-reporting after conditions are completed.
All right. With regard to the speeding, what is the violation? How many miles in what zone?
Let me pull that up really quickly.
The accusation has 90 and a 65.
90 and a 65. So this will be a super speeder violation.
It will, Your Honor.
All right. Okay. And Ms. Elwanger, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And does your client accept these terms?
He does, Your Honor.
Mr. Craig, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No,
And have you understood the proceedings?
I have, Your Honor.
And are you satisfied with your legal services?
I am, Your Honor.
Is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take this plea today?
No, ma'am.
All right. And if you decide to plead guilty to these charges, you understand that you would have to waive your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not get the opportunity to come back to court to face a jury, to confront your accuser, to challenge the evidence brought before you, to present your defenses and arguments if you choose to do so, and have the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
I am, Your Honor.
And you understand that you will get a significant number of points on your driving history. And in addition to that, the State Department of Driver Services will send you a separate bill for a $200 penalty based on the super speeder violation. Has that been explained to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. How do you plead to one count of reckless driving?
Guilty, Your Honor.
How do you plead to speeding 90 miles an hour in a 65-mile-per-hour zone?
Guilty, Your Honor.
All right. On the reckless driving, your sentence is going to be 12 months to be served on probation. You will report to the probation office on Tuesday, May 14th, next week, before 3 p.m.
Your Honor, he actually does reside in Chicago, so we would ask for mail and phone report.
I will allow for telephonic reporting only, and he would need to make sure that he fills out the probation form and gives us his current email, residential address, and current phone number. And he would need to call into probation next Tuesday before 3 p.m. and establish a probation case. While he's on probation, he will report once a month. On the reckless driving, he will need to pay a $500 fine plus court cost surcharges and probation fees. He will need to complete 40 hours of voluntary community service at any 501c agency that's not a church and not a school. He would need to complete a risk reduction and alcohol and drug evaluation within 30 days from today and provide the certificates to his probation officer. And he would need to make arrangements with his probation officer of how to attend one victim impact panel. With regards to the speeding charge, it's 12 months to run concurrent to the reckless driving. And as indicated, since it's a super speeder violation, he will receive a $200 penalty from the Georgia Department of Driver Services. Anything else, Ms. Elwanger?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that concludes this plea. And y'all are free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Notorious Rosser.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And counsel for Mr. Rosser was
Yes, Judge, I'm here, Cameron Sully.
Shirley. Okay. This is position number 22. Where's Mr. Rosser with his hard cap? I know I saw him somewhere here. There he is. Okay. All right. This is State versus Notorious Rosser, case number 21 CR 6798G. Mr. Rosser was originally accused of driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, reckless driving, driving while license suspended or revoked, and illegal parking from February 1st, 2020. Mr. Rosser, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Salih. May I place you under oath for purposes of the plea? Other right
Yes, Your
hand?
Honor.
Your other right hand? Thank you.
Sorry.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Kassadakis, what is the recommendation today?
Yes, Judge Law. Does the defense stipulate to factual basis, venue, and ID?
We do.
The state's recommendation for count 1 DUI less safe is 12 months probation, served 24 hours, credit for time served 24 hours, balance probated, a $300 fine, 40 hours of community service, a risk reduction program, a drug and alcohol evaluation and treatment, 1 victim impact panel, and license forfeiture. The state would have no objection to probation going non-reporting upon completion of terms. Count 2 will be
I
the
think that merges with count 1?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
We'll merge with count 1. Yes. And count 3, driving while license suspended, is a null pros, and so is count 4, illegal stop stand park were prohibited.
All right. Mr. Selly, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID for the 1 count of DUI less safe?
Yes, Judge.
All right. And Mr. Rosser, have you consumed any medicine? You need to unmute, sir.
No, ma'am. No, Your Honor. I haven't
Right.
consumed any drugs, alcohol.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anyone forcing or inducing you to take this plea today?
Negative, Your Honor.
And are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
If you decide to enter a plea to the DUI less safe, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not get a chance to come back to court with your attorney to be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, be able to present your defenses and arguments, and have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And has your attorney explained to you that pleading guilty to a DUI can have a negative impact upon your job, upon your driving history, any other open cases you have, as well as your residency, if applicable?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to 1 count of driving under the influence of alcohol less safe?
Guilty.
The reckless driving charge will merge with count 1. The driving while license suspended and the illegal stop and standing is going to be null prost. Are going to be null prost. On the DUI charge, your sentence is just 12 months to serve. Is someone, folks, if it's not your, all right. As I was saying, Mr. Rosser, on the DUI, your sentence is 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day, balance will be probated. You will have to report to the probation office next Tuesday, May 14th, 2024 before 3 p.m. The office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While you're on probation, you will pay a $300 fine plus court costs, surcharges, and your probation fees. You will complete 40 hours of community service with any nonprofit agency that's not a church and not a school. You will also complete a risk reduction and an alcohol and drug evaluation within 30 days from today. If the evaluation indicates you need to submit to treatment, you shall do so at your expense. Also complete 1 victim impact panel. Your current driver's license is going to be suspended in accordance with the rules set forth by the Department of Driver Services. And your probation may be non-reporting as long as all your conditions are completed, your fines and probation fees are all satisfied. Any questions, Mr. Sally?
Judge, Mr. Rosser currently lives and works in Waco, Texas. Would you allow for telephonic reporting for this first meeting, or would he have to appear in person?
Where does he reside?
Waco, Texas.
Is that his residence or just somewhere he's working?
That's his residence.
All right. He will need to complete the probation form as soon as possible, and then he'll need to contact Fulton County Probation next Tuesday before 3 p.m. and make sure that he contacts his probation officer to establish the probation case. Please note that it's his responsibility to make sure that he contacts his probation officer. Otherwise, it could be a revocation issue.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Or Mr. Sally, you can also contact them. They're not, they still talk to attorneys. All right. Thank you, sir. If there are no other questions, you all are free to go.
Thank you, Judge.
And please also, Mr. Sally, his license will be suspended, so it has a reciprocal effect in Texas as well.
Yes, Judge, understood.
All right, thank you. Okay, okay, here we go. That's fine. Mr. Jerome Anaki.
Present.
That's position number 1. All right. And Mr. Rosenblum.
I'm here, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Anaki, please unmute. All right. This is, let me get to position number 1. State versus Jerome Anaki, case number 21 CR 006-329Y. Mr. Anaki was originally accused of driving under the influence of alcohol per se, driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, reckless driving, and impeding traffic flow from December 22nd, 2019. Mr. Anaki, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Rosenblum. Mr. Anaki, please raise your right hand. For purposes of the plea, do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
All right. And
That's my case, Your Honor.
oh, good. All right, because Ms. Casadec has stepped outside. All
Okay.
right. What to which charges is he proceeding with? All of them?
All of them.
All right. And what's the recommendation?
The DUI alcohol per se is 12 months to serve 24 hours, credit for time served 24 hours. The balance is probated to pay a $500 fine, to complete 40 hours of community service, to do an alcohol drug evaluation and any required treatment, a risk reduction program, attend 1 victim impact panel, and license forfeiture. The remaining charges of the DUI alcohol less safe, reckless driving, and impeding traffic flow will merge.
Okay.
So defense stipulates to the facts, venue, and ID.
We so stipulate.
Nothing further.
All right. Mr. Anaki, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And has your attorney explained to you that if you decide to plead guilty to 1 count of driving under the influence of alcohol per se, that you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial? You will not get a chance to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence that may be brought before you, present your arguments and defenses if you choose to do so, and have the state carry its burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And has your attorney also explained to you that pleading guilty to a DUI per se will have a negative impact upon your license, upon your driving history, any professional licenses you may have, and your residency if applicable?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to 1 count of driving under the influence of alcohol per se?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day. The remainder of the time you'll be on probation. You will report to probation on Tuesday, May 14th before 3 p.m. at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While on probation, you need to pay a $500 fine, complete 40 hours of community service at any nonprofit agency that's not a school and not a church, complete an alcohol and drug evaluation and risk reduction within 30 days from today, attend one victim impact panel, and your license will be suspended in accordance with the Department of Driver Services. Your charges of DUI, alcohol, less safe, reckless driving, and impeding traffic flow will merge into the DUI per se. Anything else, Mr. Rosenblum?
Your Honor, he qualifies for a certificate of first conviction. We would ask that upon surrendering his license, that he is issued that. Otherwise, we would ask for non-reporting probation upon completion.
Any objection?
No
Okay.
objection. I didn't realize I was on mute. No objection.
All right. Mr. Aniki, I'm going to grant you an affidavit of first conviction. You may receive the affidavit to go to the Department of Driver Services and apply for a limited driving permit. A limited driving permit will only allow you to operate a vehicle for necessary reasons such as school, work, medical attention, or if you have to go to your place of worship. But you cannot use the limited permit to drive for leisure or recreational reasons. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
You would need to come down to the clerk's office at 160 Prior Street and surrender your driver's license to the clerk's office in suite J150, and they will provide you with the affidavit of first conviction. Once you have completed all your requirements, all the conditions, and you are current with your probation fees, fines, and court costs and surcharges, then your probation may be non-reporting. Any questions, Mr. Rosenblum?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, that concludes the case for Mr. Anaki. You are free to go, Mr. Anaki.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Rosenblum, your other case was
Robert
with-
Benson Jr. In that
Robert
particular
Benson.
case, Your Honor, we are asking to be entered under the First Offender Act.
He appears to be eligible.
All right.
Hey, stranger.
So this will be a NOLO plea, would that be correct?
First offender.
Oh, first offender, excuse me. I'm thinking of one thing and writing down something else, sorry.
I understand, Your Honor. It is
All right, so
correct.
this is guilty under first offender, got it.
Correct.
Let me just go. Okay. This is position number 3. This is State versus Robert S. Benson Jr.
Here,
All right, where?
right here.
Oh, on Zoom, sorry.
No problem.
You sound so clear. I thought you were in the courtroom. Thank you.
Well,
All right.
I've been a little laryngitis, so if you can't understand me, just I'll repeat myself. Sorry.
I appreciate it. All right, Mr. Benson, your case number is 21 CR 002-993G. You were originally accused of theft by shoplifting from February 21st, 2020. Mr. Benson, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Rosenblum. Please raise your right hand for purposes of the plea. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
That's my case.
All right, Ms. Githia. And what are the terms that you're offering Mr. Benson at the present time?
For the theft by shoplifting, it is 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served 2 days. To take a theft prevention class, and the balance will be suspended upon completion. Does the defense stipulate to the facts, venue, and ID?
We so stipulate.
All right.
Nothing further?
And Mr. Rosenblum, has your client completed the class?
No, Your Honor, not as of yet.
Okay. Mr. Benson, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And is anyone forcing you, inducing you to plead guilty under the First Offender Act?
No, ma'am.
You understand that if you get arrested again or if you violate the conditions of your probation, that the protection afforded to you under the First Offender Act will no longer apply.
Yes, ma'am.
So you would need to comply with all the requirements of your sentence. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
In addition to that, if you decide to plead guilty under the First Offender Act, you would need to waive your right to a trial before a judge or a jury. You would need to understand that you will not come back to court, confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, be able to present any defenses and arguments, and waive your right to have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to waive these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of theft by shoplifting, a misdemeanor offense?
Guilty. The
All
first.
right. Under the First Offender Act?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. If you comply, your sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served 2 days. You will report to the Fulton County Probation next Tuesday before 3 p.m. in person at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While you're on probation, you will enroll and complete an anti-theft class, and you must do so within 45 days from today. Once you've completed the class, the remainder of your probation will terminate. I guess that's it. Anything else?
Your Honor, given the fact he's playing under the First Offender Act, is it termination or is it non-reporting through the end of the 12-month period?
I will allow for, is balance suspended upon completion, which is tantamount to a termination.
Thank you, Your Honor. So he'll be able to qualify for the first offender's record restriction at that point.
Correct.
Thank you. So, Mr. Benson, as long as you get the class done as soon as possible, your case will be completed and your record will be restricted.
Sounds great. Thank y'all so much.
All right, best of luck. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Your Honor, may I be placed in a breakout room with Attorney Perez?
Do you have any more, please?
I think that's all for now.
Okay.
That completes my portion of today's calendar. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Enjoy your weekend. You're free to go.
My
You
wife
too,
asked me
Mr.
to ask you
Benson.
how your son is.
Thank you very much. Have a good-
Everyone's good. Thank you so much.
All right,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thank you. All right. I have position 17. I'm just going down the list on the cases that are ready for a plea right now. So let's see, position 17 is ready. Chelsea Mack. Chelsea Mack? Yes.
And could Mr. Glanville, that's Ms. Cassidakis' case, so can Mr. Glanville place us in a breakout, please?
Yes. Mr. Glanville, please place Sarita Githia and attorney.
It's done.
All right, thank you. Okay. This is State versus Chelsea Mack, who is appearing in the courthouse with her counsel, Mr. Mark Hines. This is case 21 CR 002280C. Ms. Mack was originally accused of battery, family violence from May 10th, 2021. Ms. Mack, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your counsel is Mr. Hines. May I place you under oath, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Cassidakis, what is the recommendation for Ms. Mack?
Yes, Judge. Does the defense stipulate to a factual basis, venue, and ID?
So stipulate.
The state's recommendation for battery family violence is 12 months probation, served 2 days, credit for time served 2 days, balance probated, take an FFIP course, and no violent contact with Brandon Sinclair since they share the children.
Okay. And Mr. Hines, does your client accept these terms?
She does. We just have a question to ask
Yes,
regarding
sir.
sentencing. I would just ask if the court would grant her the ability to have non-reporting probation after she completes the FFIT
The FBIT program?
Judge, because it's a battery family violence, the state would object, but it's the court.
Any priors on DV matters?
One moment. One out of five. When it's 2007, there's a guilty to children, felony, simple battery.
2007. Anything after that?
After that, it's a simple battery that was dismissed. And after that was simple assault, family violence. That was a guilty conviction. That was from 2008.
But nothing more in the last 5 years.
No, Judge.
Okay, I'll grant the non-reporting probation upon completion of the
Thank you,
FBIT
Judge.
program. All right. All right, and in that case, Ms. Mack, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes.
And are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes.
And is anyone forcing you to enter a guilty plea today?
No.
You understand that by pleading guilty to battery family violence, they will appear on your criminal history record, just like the one we just read off.
I understand.
And if you are ever arrested again for a same or similar offense, it will be a felony charge.
Okay.
Has that been explained to you?
Yes.
All right. And are you still willing to move forward with the plea freely, willingly, and voluntarily?
Yes.
If you decide to plead guilty, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not get the opportunity to come back to court, be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence that will be brought against you, present any defenses and arguments you may have, and also have the state try to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
How do you plead to one count of battery, family violence?
I'm guilty.
Repeat.
Guilty.
Your sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served 2 days, balance probated. You will report to the Fulton County Probation Office next Tuesday on May 14th before 3 p.m. The probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While you're on probation, you will enroll and complete a 24-week domestic violence intervention program, and you must attend those classes weekly with no breaks unless you have a legal excuse. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Those classes will be paid for out of your own pocket, and you must enroll in those classes within 45 days from today. While you are on probation, you shall also have no violent contact with Brandon Sinclair. In other words, whether you're on active probation or non-reporting probation, there cannot be physical and verbal altercations with Mr. Sinclair. If you are arrested again or if the police get involved based on an altercation with Mr. Sinclair, you risk the chance of your probation being revoked and spending the rest of the time in jail. Understood?
Yes.
All right. If you complete the family violence intervention program and you are up to date with your probation fees, then your probation will be non-reporting. Anything else, sir?
Thank you, Judge. Just what time on the 14th of May does she?
Before 3 p.m. They open 8:30. I
Okay.
might be.
Thank
Well,
you.
no one from probation's yelling at me, so I'm gonna say 8:30, but
8:30
Yeah.
before 3. Okay.
before 3 p.m., because if they're addressing other clients, your client will have adequate time to make sure that she is addressed before she leaves.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, anything else, sir?
That concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, sir.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Have a good afternoon.
Just one thing I want to make sure, have you filled out the probation questionnaire?
No, I don't think.
All
we
right.
have a question.
Mr. Randolph is going to give you the form, and that's the only thing that you need to complete before she leaves.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. All right, next case
Oh,
is
I'm
where,
sorry. Your Honor, Ms. Perez and I have returned out of the breakout room. And she has,
with Amanda Perez,
yes.
and who's the client?
No, Amanda Perez is the attorney.
I know, who's the client?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mujahir Chowdhury. Mujahir Chowdhury.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sorry, Mutahir Chaudhry.
Let me get to that case number. All right, yes, any announcement?
Your Honor, I've been in discussion with Mr. Reeton prior, and Ms. Waldrop as well. We're just asking for one final reset. It's regarding a potential witness, Your Honor. We're just asking it to be reset to the August 2nd. Otherwise, if it's not worked out, then we'll be moving forward with the not guilty.
This is a final reset to a final plea calendar. Ms. Perez, you and your client will have to come down to the court in person. And this will be
Yes,
at
Your Honor.
9 a.m. in courtroom G33 and court at the Charlie Kahns Building, 160 Prior Street. Please understand that no more Zoom for Mr. Chowdhury. Anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, see you then. Thank you. Both you and Mr. Chowdhury are free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, Terrell Williams.
Your Honor,
I have, oh, I'm so sorry. Nope, my bad. Disregard what I just said. I'm just,
I also have a couple announcements whenever the court's ready.
all right, just give me a moment. I was just calling out the names who are on the plea list, so give me a moment. Jorge Perucho Flores.
Yes.
Is there an interpreter available for this, Leon?
A Spanish interpreter.
Mr. Glanville?
I've reached out for one. I'm still attempting.
Sorry, folks. All right, we'll hold. David Rivers.
Yes, Judge, that's my case. I'm ready.
All right, Mr. Rivers? All right. Do a testing 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. I'm here.
All right, and there's some kind of fabric on the side. Could you, okay, good, thank you. Okay. Mr. Rivers is going to be position 19, I think.
He's on the final plea, Judge.
Yeah. Position 21. I just have a running checklist, so I just need to make sure that.
Absolutely.
This is State versus David Rivers, case number 21 CR 597G, in which Mr. Rivers was accused of driving, following too closely, hit and run, failure to return to the scene of the accident. And this was from a September 1st, 2019 incident. Mr. Rivers is appearing via Zoom, and his attorney, Mr. Jawan Haddad, is present in the courtroom. Mr. Rivers, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your counsel will be speaking on your behalf from courtroom G33. May I place you under oath?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Casadecas?
Yes, Judge. Does the defense stipulate to a factual basis, venue, and ID?
We stipulate for purposes of the plea.
The state's recommendation, Your Honor, for count 1, following too closely, will be a null pros. All damages were covered to my victim. Count 2, hit and run, is 12 months probation, served 2 days, credit for time served 2 days, balance probated, a $300 fine, 20 hours of community service, and the license will be suspended. The amount of time is, of course, up to DDS.
And Your Honor, my client lives in New York, so we're requesting that he report by telephone, Judge.
Okay. And you just stipulate, right, Mr. Adnan?
Yes, Judge, we do stipulate for purpose of the plea, Judge. Thank you.
Understood. Mr. Rivers, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
Yeah, you did.
No, I haven't.
I'm sorry, you need to speak a little clearly. You're very muffled.
No, I haven't.
Okay. And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes,
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
yes,
And is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take this plea today?
no,
If you decide to plead guilty, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not get a chance to come back to court, confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, present any arguments and defenses you may have, and as well as have the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
yes,
How do you plead to one count of hit and run?
guilty.
Your sentence is going to be 12 months. I'm going to allow for telephonic reporting. Your attorney will send you a form that you would need to fill out with all your current contact information, including your address, your email, and a good working telephone number, since I'm going to allow you for telephonic reporting. You would need to
Okay.
contact the Fulton County Probation Office on Tuesday, May 14th, before 3 p.m. And you need to establish contact with your probation officer. Your sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served 2 days, balance probated. You will be paying a $300 fine. You must begin with a minimum payment of $50 in the first month, and then a minimum payment of $50 every month thereafter. And you must make sure you deliver those funds in accordance with your probation officer's instructions. You will complete 20 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency that is not a church and a school and not a school. Your driver's license will be suspended in accordance with the Georgia Department of Driver Services for a hit and run conviction. Please understand that this suspension does go nationwide, so it will have a reciprocal effect if you currently possess a New York driver's license. Any questions?
No.
Your Honor, just for clarification, I went ahead and emailed Mr. Randolph the probation form, so it's already filled out.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Judge.
That case, that concludes this case. And Mr. Rivers, you're free to go.
Your Honor, if I may interject, what position did the interpreter?
20. All right, position 23. I thought that was going to be a plea as well
Yes, Judge, that's a plea.
for
The attorney-
Christian Shell.
Oh, there's the attorney.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a plea.
All right, Mr. Toe, good afternoon. Could you please unmute, sir?
23.
How's this? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Have you emailed the plea paperwork to the clerk's office or to Ms. Kassadakis?
It was sent to State ORCA.
Yes, I signed the DocuSign agreement, so it should have gone through.
Okay, if you would please hold, we will need to print those up before we can proceed with that. And then, are there any other attorneys on Zoom who are waiting to take a plea? Ms. Rockwell, good afternoon.
Hi, Judge. I unfortunately am not waiting to take a plea. Let me apologize about being late.
That's okay. Chauncey Turner, right?
Right. And who is my prosecutor?
That would be Ms. Kassadakis. Ms. Kassadakis, you have position 26, right? Turner?
Yes,
Okay.
Judge. I have position 26.
Yeah.
I can talk to the attorney.
Would you like to speak to Ms. would you like to speak to Ms. Rockwell, Mr. Kassadakis? Okay. Vice versa. Okay.
I would love to, Judge, but I don't want to take her away if she's moving some cases. That's what it's all about, really. I
Okay.
guess, could I just request from the court another final plea? I have to file everything on this case. I apologize, Judge.
I can do in August 2nd, but that's going to be requiring an in-person show up.
Do you have Do you have anything on Zoom?
Not for August 2nd.
Okay. Do you have anything anytime on Zoom? If we work it out, Judge, do you allow sign-ins, additions, and add-ons?
You can work it out with Mr. Michael Jordan with the clerk's office and see if he can accommodate you on one of the calendars.
Okay, thank you so much, Judge.
All right, so presently Chauncey Turner is reset to August 2nd, 2024 at 9 a.m. This is the in-person final plea calendar. Now, if you cannot appear in person, your client must appear. And
Okay,
I
Judge.
can allow you to appear via Zoom, but your client needs to be present with the paperwork and so
I
forth.
understand.
All right. Okay,
I
anything
understand,
else?
Judge. And Ms. Katsadakis, I'm gonna give you a call. Y'all have a good weekend. Thank you so
All
much,
right,
Judge.
Mr. Turner, you're free to
Appreciate it.
go. You need to be back in court in person on August 2nd at 9 a.m. Where is he?
Thank you, Judge.
Oh, he was in person. Okay, excellent. Thank you. All right, Mr. Position 20, Mr. Peruccio Flores, counsel. Our interpreter is on Zoom.
I believe he just fell off the Zoom call, but he was logging right back in.
All right, I think he's back. Okay. Perfect. Ms. Chauncey, good afternoon. Thank you so much for being available.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
All right. May I place you under oath, please? Do you
Yes.
solemnly swear and affirm that the testimony you translate will be a true and accurate translation with no changes and embellishments?
I do, Your Honor.
Appreciate it. Thank you. This is State versus Jorge Peruco Flores, case number 21 CR 005-625Y.
Este es el caso de Jorge Peruco Flores. El número de caso es 21 CR 005-625Y.
Mr. Flores, you will have to unmute your Zoom panel.
Señor Flores, usted va a tener que prender el micrófono.
We cannot hear you, Mr. Flores.
Señor Flores, no lo podemos escuchar. Tiene que prender el micrófono. Ahí está. Ahí está. That's it.
Can you say something so we can make sure you're heard?
¿Me puede escuchar, señor?
Sí, sí, yo le escucho, sí.
I can hear, thank you.
All right, and we can hear you too.
Lo podemos escuchar también.
You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of the case, your statements can and will be used against you.
Usted puede guardar silencio. Todo lo que diga acerca de su caso puede y será usado en su contra.
You have a right to an attorney, and your counsel is Jason McClendon, who is in the courtroom with us today.
Usted tiene derecho a ser representado por un abogado y su abogado es Jason McClendon, que está en la sala hoy.
You were accused of driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, driving under the influence of alcohol per se.
Usted tiene un cargo por haber manejado incapacitado bajo los efectos del alcohol y un cargo por manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol propiamente dicho.
In addition to that, you had a charge of failure to yield right of way, driving without a valid license, and failure to maintain lane.
Y también, además de eso, tiene un cargo por no ceder el paso, por manejar sin licencia y por no mantener su distancia, manejar de muy cerca.
May I place you under oath for purposes of this plea?
Puedo juramentarlo. Levante su mano derecha, por favor.
Other right hand?
La derecha, la derecha.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Jura o afirma que la declaración que dará será la verdad, lo mejor que usted puede proveerla?
Sí, claro.
Yes, of course.
Ms. Casadakis?
Yes, Judge. Does the defense stipulate to a factual basis, venue, and ID?
Yes.
Estamos de acuerdo con la jurisdicción y la identificación. Yes, sí.
Count 1, DUI less safe, will merge with count 2.
El cargo 1 va a juntarse y hacerse uno con el cargo 2.
Count 2, DUI per se is, go ahead, sorry.
No, please finish.
Okay, 12 months probation, served 24 hours, credit for time served 24 hours, balance probated.
Okay, one moment, please.
Okay, yes. Should I repeat it?
El cargo, entonces, por manejar incapacitado por los efectos del alcohol, se da 12 meses de probatoria, a servir 24 horas, crédito por las 24 horas, y el resto de la sentencia debe cumplirse bajo libertad probatoria.
A $300 fine,
$300 de multa,
40 hours of community service,
40 horas de trabajo a favor de la comunidad,
a risk reduction program,
registrarse en un programa para reducir el riesgo al manejo,
a alcohol drug evaluation and treatment,
someterse a una evaluación de drogas y alcohol y tratamiento si es necesario,
one victim impact panel,
presenciar una sesión sobre el impacto a la víctima
and license forfeiture.
y se le confiscará la licencia.
Probation can become non-reporting upon completion of terms.
Una vez que cumpla con todos estos términos, no necesitará presentarse ante el supervisor de probatoria.
Count 3, following failure to yield right of way, is going to be dismissed.
El cargo 3 de por no ceder el paso va a ser desestimado, borrado.
Count 4, driving without a driver's license that's valid, will be dismissed.
El cargo 4 por manejar sin licencia será desestimado.
And so will count 5, failure to maintain lane.
Y también será desestimado el cargo 5 de no mantenerse en su carril.
All right, thank you. Mr. McClendon, with regards to the license suspension, does your client have a valid license at the present time?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so it's just going to, go ahead.
Señor McClendon, ¿su cliente tiene una licencia válida? No, su señoría.
Mr. Flores, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
Señor Flores, ¿ha consumido usted algún medicamento o alcohol recientemente?
No.
No.
Have you understood the proceedings so far?
¿Ha entendido el proceso hasta ahora?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
¿Está satisfecho con el servicio de su abogado?
Sí, estoy satisfecho.
Yes, I am.
And has it been explained to you that if you plead guilty to this charge, you will not have a chance to do a jury or bench trial?
Se le ha explicado que si usted se declara culpable en esta audiencia, usted no va a proceder a un juicio con jurado o a un juicio ante el juez. ¿Entiende?
Sí, entiendo, sí.
Yes, I do, yes.
You will not be able to confront your accuser or challenge the evidence brought against you?
Usted no va a acarear a los testigos en un juicio ni tampoco va a tener la oportunidad de presentar prueba ante los cargos en su contra en un juicio.
And the prosecutor need not prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
Y la fiscalía no necesita probar su culpabilidad más allá de toda duda.
Are you prepared to give up these rights?
¿Está preparado para renunciar o no usar los derechos de ir a juicio?
Sí, sí, estoy preparado.
Yes, I am.
And by pleading guilty, you will not have the opportunity to apply for a driver's license.
Y al declararse culpable, usted no tendrá la oportunidad de solicitar una licencia.
You would have to comply with the Department of Driver Services rules with regards to application for a driver's license, if any.
Si hay alguna oportunidad o regla para obtener una licencia, usted tendrá que seguirlas al pie de la letra con el servicio de transporte donde otorgan las licencias.
How do you plead to how do you plead to one count of driving under the influence of alcohol per se?
¿Cómo se declara ante un cargo de manejar bajo incapacitado por los efectos del alcohol?
Culpable.
Guilty.
The DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, merges with the DUI per se.
El otro cargo de manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol propiamente dicho se va a unir haciéndose un solo cargo.
The charges of failure to yield, no license, and failure to maintain lane are dismissed.
Y los cargos de no ceder el paso, manejar sin licencia y no mantenerse en su carril se van a desestimar.
Your sentence for DUI per se is 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day, balance probated.
Y la sentencia es de 12 meses de probatoria para servir un día, darle crédito por un día, y lo que queda de la probatoria, perdón, lo que queda se servirá bajo la libertad probatoria.
You will report to the Fulton County Probation Office on Tuesday, May 14th, before 3 p.m. at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta.
I'm sorry, 143, Your Honor?
132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta.
Señor, entonces usted va a presentarse ante la oficina de registro probatorio el martes 4 de mayo, perdón, 14 de mayo, antes de la 1:30.
Yes, Mr. McClendon?
My client resides in Arkansas at this time, and I was wondering if Your Honor would consider, like with the other folks that have asked for a similar consideration of reporting by phone rather than coming back from Arkansas.
Two concerns. Number one, I need a barrier. I mean, that's a language barrier, and I don't know how probation sets it up for that. And number two, he doesn't even have a driver's license. So allegedly, he was operating a vehicle while DUI and no license.
I understand that. I think that the license consideration enhances my request because how is he supposed to get here? But I can accommodate.
Greyhound.
I can accommodate the translation through my office for probation.
Well, if that's a service your office provides, that would certainly help.
We can do that.
Miss Chauncey?
Y entonces se tendrá que presentar el 14 de mayo, martes, antes de la 1:30, en el 132 Mitchell Street, en el centro de Atlanta.
Did that convey everything that we?
She did not.
No, I
Okay.
just finished the previous order that you gave.
Okay. Well, let me continue, Ms. Chauncey, then I'll elaborate. So as I was saying, Mr. Flores apparently lives out of state, so I'm going to allow him for telephonic reporting to his probation office. His first telephone report date is May 14th, 2024, before 3 p.m.
Entonces, debido a que el señor Flores vive fuera del estado, le voy a permitir que se presente ante probatoria de manera telefónica, que llame a la oficina de registro probatorio el 14 de mayo antes de las 3 de la tarde. May 14, the same date, right, Your Honor?
May 14th, 2024, before 3 p.m.
14 de mayo del 2024, antes de las 3 de la tarde.
Mr. Flores is responsible for contacting his attorney, and the attorney's office will facilitate the phone conversation between Mr. Flores and his probation officer.
Entonces, el señor Flores va a tener que contactar a su abogado y a través de la oficina del abogado van a facilitar la comunicación entre la oficina de probatorias y el señor Flores y la oficina de probatoria.
This reporting will continue once a month for the remainder of the probation term.
Esta comunicación va a continuar una vez al mes hasta que se complete el periodo de la sentencia.
While on probation, he will pay a $300 fine plus court costs and surcharges, as well as his probation fees.
Mientras pagará una multa de $300 más costas judiciales, recargos y tarifas de probatoria.
He will complete 40 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency, which is not a church and not a school.
Entonces va a trabajar 40 horas a favor de la comunidad en cualquier entidad sin fines de lucro que no sea ni una iglesia ni una escuela.
He will complete a risk reduction program and an alcohol drug evaluation within 45 days from today with any qualified program in Arkansas.
Él completará un programa de reducción del riesgo de manejo en 44 días y una evaluación de drogas y alcohol en cualquier programa que cumpla los requisitos para hacerlo en Arkansas.
And as he is not licensed, he is not allowed to operate a motor vehicle unless he has a valid Class C driver's license, adequate insurance, and proper registration for the vehicle.
Entonces, como no tiene una licencia, está prohibido operar un vehículo automotor a no ser que tenga una licencia clase C, seguro del automóvil y también una registración del vehículo.
I think that was it, Ms. McClendon. Did I miss something?
No, Your Honor.
All right. That completes the sentencing. Thank you.
I have the probation form filled out on his behalf. Who should I provide that to?
Mr. Randall, please.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Flores, you're free to go. Your attorney will be in touch with you.
Muy bien, señor Flores. Usted puede retirarse. Su abogado estará en contacto con usted.
Ok, muchas gracias.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Ms. McClendon. Amanda, Ms. Chauncey, I think that was the only one, but thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I have any announcement with Attorney Yeager?
Yes, Your Honor, on position 7.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I've spoken with the prosecutor and completed the pretrial conference. At this time, we reject the state's offer. We ask that the court place this matter on a motions and trial calendar.
All right, I'm going to reset it for a trial. This is going to be, this is Akeem Brown, correct?
This is on position 7, Maria Lola Figueredo.
got one too many calendars in front of me. Okay, there we go. Position 7. Yes.
And are
So
you going to place it on a separate motions date, or will it be motions with trial to follow immediately?
you tell me, I haven't looked at the case to see whether there are any pending motions, so.
We have a pending motion to suppress, Judge, so I would ask
Okay.
the court to place it on a motions calendar with trial to follow at a later time.
Okay, so this is gonna be reset to a motions calendar. Motions calendar also require in-person appearance by both counsel and client. And this is gonna be further notice for motions. I don't have a date certain.
A no caller.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, that concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
And
Miss,
Mr. Frito, you can sign off as well. Thank you, Judge.
all right, thank you. All right, and moving on to Amanda Lynn Mills. Miss Mills? Miss Figueroa, you are free to go.
Hi.
Hi, and who's the attorney for Miss Mills?
Ansley Plus.
Oh, Miss Luss, okay, good. All right. Miss Mills is position 19. This is State versus Amanda Lynn Mills, who is appearing virtually in case 21 CR 6870G. Miss Mills has got 5 misdemeanor charges brought against her: driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, reckless driving, endangering a child by driving under the influence of alcohol. I think that's 2 counts.
Yes, Judge.
And failure to maintain lane stemming from a May 19th, 2020 incident. Ms. Mills, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Ansley Sluss, who is stepping in place of, well, no, you are the attorney.
I am the attorney.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I just appear for other attorneys.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, your attorney is Ms. Sluss, and she's appearing on your behalf. Thank you. Ms. Mills, may I place you under oath, please?
Yes.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, and Ms. Casadecas?
Yes, Judge. Does the defense stipulate to a factual basis, venue, and ID?
We do.
All right, the state's recommendation for count 1, DUI less safe, is 12 months probation, served 24 hours, credit for time served 24 hours, balance probated, a $300 fine, a 40 hours community service, risk reduction, a drug and alcohol evaluation and treatment, 1 victim impact panel, and license forfeiture. The state does not object to probation becoming non-reporting upon completion of terms. Count 2, reckless, will merge with count 1. Count 3, endangering a child by driving under the influence, is 12 months probation, which can run concurrent with count 1, serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day, balance probated, 40 hours of community service, risk reduction, alcohol, drug evaluation and treatment, 1 victim impact panel. Count 4, endangering a second child by driving under the influence, will be null pros solely for plea purposes. And count 5, failure to maintain lane, will be null pros.
Okay. And Ms. Mills, your client agrees to these terms?
Yes, Your Honor, I just wanted to make sure she would, she's already done many of these, sorry. She's already completed most of these terms, and has moved to Colorado. I just wanted to make sure, having already completed them because they're of 2 different counts, would she need to do everything twice?
No.
Okay.
It's a concurrent.
Just wanted to make
sentence.
sure.
I'm going to hand back your client's driver's license.
Yes,
But
because
she needs to understand that that license is going to be suspended
Mhm.
in accordance with the Georgia rules. And you're going to say something?
just because, so that, because she has moved to Colorado, if we were just asking if it could be possible for her tickets to be amended so that they apply directly to her Colorado license. just so she does not have any plan to return to the state of Georgia.
I have no control over that. That is strictly controlled by the Department of Driver Services. If this is her first DUI, I believe she qualifies for reinstatement after 120 days.
Okay, yeah, I was just having, I thought that with amending it, then Colorado can deal with, I believe, I don't know Colorado law, but at least 1 year suspension, I believe, is required by Colorado. And so if it could just transfer there for ease of her own, administration with getting that suspension and everything.
I don't know what it means by to transfer. So this is how I understand the Department of Driver Services operates. If if she's pleading guilty to DUI in the state of Georgia, the Georgia Department of Driver Services will suspend her license in accordance with their rules. And I believe if you check with the rules and regs for DDS, the first time conviction is she's eligible for reinstatement after 120 days. Right. And if she has an out-of-state driver's license, the suspension has a reciprocal effect in Colorado.
Right.
And that means that her Colorado driver's license will be suspended. Now, whether she's eligible for reinstatement, in other words, does Colorado reciprocate with the Department of Driver Services Georgia rules? That's entirely up to Colorado, and I cannot speak to that.
Okay, that's fine.
Because we tend to be very myopic about, rules and regulations but you would have to advise your client as to the license suspension situation.
Right, I'm sorry. I thought that the courts reported out to Colorado DMV, so my apologies.
My years of dealing with the Department of Driver Services have always told me that the courts don't get to tell them what to do.
Okay.
So
That's fine. Yes, my client would still like to enter the plea today.
all right. Ms. Mills, from this conversation with your attorney, I have no control over how the Georgia Department of Driver Services will issue a suspension and what impact that may have on your Colorado license and when you would be able to reinstate for your license privileges. So please understand that if you enter this plea today, your license will be suspended.
Today?
Yeah, as soon as the conviction is filed.
Okay.
All right. So your attorney is already stipulated to the factual basis, venue, and ID. Do you agree to these terms?
Yes.
All right. Have you consumed any medicine or alcohol at all?
No.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes.
Are you entering this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes.
And if you decide to enter a guilty plea, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial before a judge or a jury in the state court of Fulton County. You will not be able to challenge the evidence brought against you, to confront your accuser, present any arguments or defenses if you choose to do so, and have the ability to have the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
All right, and I've gone over the impact it may have on your Colorado license. It could also have an adverse impact upon any open cases you have, upon your job licenses and your residency, if applicable. Are you prepared to move forward?
Yes.
How do you plead to one count of driving under the influence of alcohol? I think this was, less safe.
Guilty.
How do you plead to one count of endangering a child by driving under the influence of alcohol?
Guilty.
The reckless driving will merge with the DUI. Count 4 for endangering a child by DUI is going to be null prost, as well as the failure to maintain lane. On the DUI less safe, your sentence is 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day, balance probated. I will allow for telephonic reporting. Your first report date by telephone is going to be on Tuesday, May 14th, before 3 p.m. And just keep in mind, this is Eastern Standard Time.
You said before 2 p.m., I'm sorry?
Before 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And your attorney will send you the probation information, and you have filled out the probation questionnaire. Yes?
I I believe I have, but I will not leave this room.
One is ready for you.
Right,
Okay,
before doing so.
thank you. And please make sure that her current address and phone number, working numbers are all listed on the probation form.
Mhm.
While you are on probation, Ms. Mills, you will pay a $300 fine, and that those funds are to be delivered to your probation officer in Fulton County as directed by your probation officer. You're to complete 40 hours of community service with any nonprofit agency in Colorado, but it cannot be a church and it cannot be a school.
She has already completed that.
Oh, she's done? Okay, good. Just make sure a probation officer gets all these letters and certificates so they can check it off the list.
Right,
Okay, risk reduction, is that completed?
yes.
Alcohol and drug evaluation?
She has one that likely would, it was used in another context, but she understands that she may have to get a new one, but she's already undergone treatment with one evaluation.
How old is that one?
It is from, I apologize, I didn't bring it up and with the paperwork.
That's okay.
But I told her that it's completely up to the probation officer as to whether.
Well,
that-
actually, I have to decide.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
if it's more than 2 years old, she'll have to do another one.
Okay.
Okay.
I did one in October with Cedar. as well.
Repeat.
I did one this past October with a residential rehabilitation facility and did all their recommendations as
If
well.
you have an alcohol and drug evaluation within the last 24 months, I will accept that as long as it's by a qualified healthcare provider who is evaluating you for substance abuse, including alcohol and illegal drugs.
Yes, that's what this was.
Okay, please make sure you send that letter directly to your attorney so that they can make sure your probation officer has all the information. She also needs to do a victim impact panel. Has that been done?
I do not believe I advised her to, so I apologize. She would have done it.
That's fine. Ms. Mills, you will have to attend and complete one victim impact panel, and your probation officer will instruct you on how to do so by attending the program. It can be done by Zoom, I believe, or online.
Great.
We've already covered your license suspension issue. All right, any other questions?
If it would be possible for upon completion of the terms and conditions, could her probation go non-reporting?
Any objection from the state? All right, if she's completed all her requirements, her probation fees and her fines are all up to date, then her probation will be non-reporting.
And just in case, Your Honor, if I may request a certificate of first conviction in case that's needed.
It won't do any good. It's an out-of-state license.
Yeah,
But I will grant you one and you can let me know if the Georgia Department of Driver Services accepts it and gives her, and then if Colorado will give her a limited permit.
just in case
Yeah.
Georgia says it needs it at any point, I just figured.
Okay, I'll grant you one. Let me know. Keep us in the loop as
Yes,
to
I
what they
will.
do.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Anything else, Ms. Luss?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Mills, you're free to go. Thank you. Christian Shell, Attorney Travis Toe.
Yes, Your Honor. We are ready.
All right, sir. This is position 23 on our, Mr. Haddad, did you have any announcements?
I do, Judge.
All right, go ahead.
Your Honor, on position number, on the final, I can't remember which case.
Welcome to my world.
Your Honor, on position number 11 of the final plea.
Okay.
Rodriguez Hendricks.
Yep.
We're gonna maintain a not guilty plea, Judge, and I guess send it back to division.
Okay.
Mr.
Rodriguez Lamar Hendricks, please unmute.
Yes.
And just 1 second. Your attorney is going to be Jawan Haddad, so please make sure you write that down somewhere.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you keep his contact information. And do we know if this case has been arraigned?
It probably was, Judge. But if not, I can always file the.
This is a battery, family violence, simple battery, family violence. And 3 counts of cruelty from June 2021. Mr. Randall, would you be able to pull up that case? My Odyssey is just not acting up, it's just decided to take its own time. All right, and besides Mr. Hendricks, did you have another
Yes,
announcement?
Judge. Position number 16 on the final plea, Devontae Jones. He's actually present, Judge. He came in at some point about an
Okay.
hour ago. Apparently that is our case, Judge. Ms. Shelley did not file an entry. I will take care of that, but we're going to maintain a not guilty plea on Mr. Jones, Devontae Jones.
All right, just give me a moment. This is position 16.
16 on the final plea.
All right. On Mr. Hendricks, position
Yes.
number 11, it looks like a waiver of arraignment was filed on February 7th, 2022, I believe. Okay, so Mr. Hendricks, your case
Yes,
is
ma'am.
going to be further notice for a jury trial. You would need to come back to court in person, no more Zoom.
Yes, ma'am.
And please keep in touch with your attorney. You're free to go. On position 16, Mr. Devontae Jones.
I'm sorry, what was your announcement for Mr. Hendricks, Your Honor?
Further notice for jury trial, case management order to issue.
Thank you.
Am I free to go?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That's Mr. Hendricks, yeah. I have a couple of FTAs for Mr. Jones, so let's see what's going on. All right, his case has already been arraigned. So Mr. Devontae Jones, please make sure that you maintain a current address and phone number with the court. Your case, we're going to issue a case management order and further notice this case for a jury trial. If you don't show up to court on time, the judge will issue a bench warrant. It may not be me, I'm just letting you know. You don't have to say anything. But from now on, you know where the courthouse is. If you need to leave an hour earlier than usual, you just need to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, your attorney is Mr. Haddad. Make sure you show up to court on time. Thank you.
Appreciate
You are free to go.
Appreciate it. Your Honor, can I make one other special request?
Look at you. Mr. Toe is just going to grind his teeth at you. All right. All right, what's the last announcement, sir?
Judge, can I be placed in a breakout room with Cedric Edwards because he won't answer his phone and goes straight to voicemail. So, he's on the.
Yeah, I see him. Cedric Edwards, please unmute. Unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You're going to see a message on your screen to join a breakout session. Mr. Glanville, this will be a breakout for PD Jawan Haddad and Cedric Edwards.
MS join, right?
Look at the screen and click on it when it says join a breakout room. All right. Mr. Toe, at the end of the calendar, I'm going to give you a patience award, which probably means a Kit Kat bar. But presently, we're going to proceed with your client's case, Christian Shell, which is position 23.
Okay.
This is 21 CR 6262G. Mr. Christian Shell was accused of reckless driving from January 24th, 2020. Mr. Shell, if you please unmute. Thank you. Soon, okay. If you raise your right hand, sir, for purposes of the plea, do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. So was he originally accused of DUI and then it's been amended to reckless driving? Okay. All right. Mr. Shell, you've been advised of your right to remain silent and your counsel's Mr. Toe. Ms. Kassidakis, what is the recommendation?
Yes, Judge. Does the defense stipulate to a factual basis of venue and ID?
Yes.
The original charge was a DUI, Judge, that was amended to reckless. The state's recommendation is 12 months probation, a $500 fine, 40 hours of community service, risk reduction program, a drug and alcohol evaluation and treatment, 1 victim impact panel, random screening, and no alcohol or drugs while on probation. And the state would not object to probation becoming non-reporting upon completion of terms.
Mr. Toe, does your client accept these terms?
Yes, Your Honor. He has
All right.
already completed DUI school. He's completed drug and alcohol evaluation, as well as a MAD victim impact panel. So, yes, I just accept that you, I just ask that you accept the negotiated plea, and in exchange for the Kit Kat bar, I would ask that you terminate probation once he completes it at 6 months.
I can't, well, yeah, any objection since I already got this promise? Okay, yeah. If he completes all the requirements, yes, sir, we will terminate the probation and I get to keep my Kit Kat bar. Okay, thank you.
Anyway, so that's a great deal. Thanks.
All right, Mr. Shell, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
Nope.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes.
And are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes.
If you decide to plead guilty to 1 count of reckless driving, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial before a judge or a jury. You will not get a chance to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought before you, have the state try to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
How do you plead to 1 count of reckless driving?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months probation to pay a $500 fine plus any court costs and surcharges. If you still have a couple of items to complete, you would have to report to probation next Tuesday before 3 p.m. at 132 Mitchell Street. While you're on probation, you will pay the $500 fine plus the probation fees and court costs. Complete 40 hours of community service at any nonprofit agency. Is this done?
No, he has not done that yet. That's the only
Okay.
thing he needs to complete.
All right, so it will be done at any nonprofit 501c agency that's not a church and not a school. If you've done your risk reduction program, please provide your certificate to the probation officer. If you completed the alcohol and drug evaluation, please provide that letter to the probation officer. And the certificate of the MAD program, please provide that to the probation officer. You are not to consume any drugs and illegal drugs and not to consume any alcohol. You may be subject to random screens by probation. If you've completed all the conditions, then your probation will terminate upon satisfaction with your probation officer. Any questions, Mr. Toe?
That's all, Your Honor.
All right. Did you have the probation questionnaire to fill out?
I did not receive that, so if someone can send that to me and email it to.
Could you put your email address in the chat feature directed to Mr. Kenneth Randolph? And
Kenneth Randall, okay.
yeah, it would be under Project ORCA, parentheses, K. Randolph.
Well,
Oh, Miss Kassidakis has your email. She'll give it to Mr. Randolph.
okay, great, because I'm not, yeah, I see it, okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Shell. You're free to go.
All right, thank you.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. Mr. Shell, have a great weekend. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Mr. Haddad, anything to announce?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Edwards does qualify. I would ask to reset for August 2nd in person, Judge.
Okay.
But I do have a good phone number for him. And he's on the ORCA status position number 10 from 9 a.m.,
Right.
Judge. He of course showed up late.
All right. Mr. Cedric Edwards, please unmute.
Hello?
Mr. Edwards, I'm going to cancel the bench warrant.
Okay, thank you.
Your next court date, and please write this down in big red letters, is on August 2nd, 2024 at 9 a.m.
August
You will
2nd.
be expected to arrive in the courtroom in G33 at 160 Prior Street in
G33.
person at 8:59 a.m. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And there shall be no more Zoom proceedings for you, so you are required to come down to the courthouse in person.
Yes,
Even
ma'am.
if you receive a notice for a Zoom link, you are not allowed to use Zoom, in person only.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll see you then. Thank you.
And August the 2nd, right?
August 2nd at 9 a.m. You are to be here 1 minute before 9.
Yes, ma'am. It's
Thank
G33.
you.
Thank you.
G33.
Yes, G33. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Haddad, did you have any more clients on Zoom?
No, Judge,
All right.
that's all there are. There's an iPhone 6, Judge. I don't know. There's a Motorola too. I'm not sure who these individuals are.
One is Mr. Gill, so we need to rename that to iPhone 6 to Gill. And then that's an individual, Mr. Cedric Edwards, you're free to go.
Yes,
Then
I'm trying
we
to
have, we'll help you. Mr. Glanville, please assist
Okay.
Mr. Edwards and remove him from Zoom.
Can Mr. Glanville remove me too?
There we go. All right. Mr. Motorola, Moto. Every time I see the word Moto, I think of the hippopotamus from that show. I can't remember what it's called. Yes. Miss Motorola Moto, what's your name, please?
Marie Shackelford.
Oh, wow. Oh, bless you can join us.
I've been here since 1:20.
Good.
All right, the judge, Ms. Shackelford, can you provide your phone number in the chat so I can give you a call?
Which
Yeah.
calendar is she with? 24.
What's your name?
My last name is Haddad, Haddad.
Okay.
And I'll give you a call. I'm covering for Ms. Helen Patrice.
It was Madagascar, by the way, Judge.
Madagascar, thank you, thank you. It's burning my head. Thank you, sir. All right. Let me go through my, so Ms. Shackelford, once you put your phone number in the chat, then Public Defense Attorney Jawan Haddad will give you a call.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Gill, you're required to keep your video on. Thank you. All right. Let's go over the show cause calendar. Positions, one, Mr. Abdullah did not appear. It's the state seeking a bench warrant on the no-shows from
Yes,
the
Your
show
Honor.
cause calendar. Okay.
Yes.
So that will be a bench warrant with a $500 surety. April Brooks did not appear.
State
Bench,
warrant.
bench warrant granted, $500 surety. Position 3 and 4, Rodney Brown did not appear.
Request a bench warrant.
On position 3, that's going to be a $1,500 surety. On position 4, that's going to be a $1,000 surety. Position 5, Joseph Carter, did not appear.
State request bench warrant.
That's a $1,000 surety. Position 6, DeMarcus Dewberry did not appear.
State request bench warrant.
That's going to be a $500 surety. Position 7, a case is closed. Position 8, Johnny Dubay did not appear.
State request bench warrant.
Right, it's gonna be $250 on each count, and that's gonna be a $500 surety bench warrant. Stephanie Giles, position 9, did not appear,
State request bench warrant.
and that's gonna be a $500 surety. Position 10, Daniel Humphrey did not appear.
State
for
request bench warrant. Sorry,
I'm sorry, I was gonna say for positions 10, 11, and 12.
state request bench warrant.
Right, on position 10, that's gonna be a $2,000 surety, 500 each count. On position 11, that's gonna be a 1,500 surety, 500 on each count. And on position 12, that's gonna be a $1,000 surety. Position 13, Lamore Jack has not appeared.
State request bench warrant.
Granted, and that's gonna be a $1,500 surety. Moving on to positions 14 through 17. Hang on. He's already got an active bench warrant. And this was reset to show cause why it should be set aside. Could we confirm that, please? And this was positions 14 through 17.
I
So the
think
bench,
but here's your honor, they were placed on the show cause calendar because it was the first time they were in ORCA, but just given the nature and the number of cases he had, I requested a bench warrant.
okay, I've got a bench warrant issued on March 21st and then a show cause hearing. So technically speaking, that is still a valid bench warrant. It was issued by Judge Morrow and it's been signed off.
Yes.
It's just in case it showed up.
Then set aside. Okay. So per Judge Morrow's instructions, those bench warrants that were issued on positions 14 through 17 are going to move forward and there shall be no set aside.
Thank you.
All right, that leaves us with Aisha Thomas. And I think that's already been further noticed for August 2nd, 2024 at 9 a.m.
That's correct, Judge.
All right. Mr. Haddad, did you have an announcement for Ms. Shackelford?
She is position number 21, Judge. We're gonna maintain a not guilty plea, Judge.
All right.
And that's Ms. Helen's case.
All right, Ms. Marie Shackelford.
Yes, ma'am.
Your case is going to be further notice for a jury trial. We're going to issue a case management order. When you receive your next court notice, you must come down to court in person. There shall be no more Zoom appearances. And that concludes your case. You're free to go.
Okay, I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. Y'all have a blessed evening.
You too. That leaves us with Mr. Gill. Jesse Gill, position 9. Mr. Gill, let me just see the history in your case. All right.
You hear me?
Yes, sir. Mr. Jesse DeQuan Gill, you were accused of simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass causing damage to property on December 27, 2020. Your case is 21 CR 002-338C. You were advised that you do not qualify for the services of a public defender's office. So you were required to either retain private counsel or decide whether you want to waive your right to counsel and represent yourself. Please understand that if you decide to represent yourself, you are responsible for all legal decisions and how it may impact the facts of your case or any other matters concerning you. In the meantime, your case was reset for a final plea, which means that you were required to show up in court in person, and you have failed to appear in person, and you have failed to get an attorney to represent you. How would you like to proceed today? Well, it's your balls in your court, Mr. Gill. How are you
Oh,
proceeding
I don't
today?
think he heard you, Your Honor.
Mr. Gill,
I
you
think
can't hear me?
I think he thinks he can hear through the headset or headphones, or that the sound is connected. But
Mr. Gill, can you hear me? Hang on.
Seems like he's talking, we can't.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yes, ma'am, I can hear.
I asked you, well, how would you like to proceed? Did you hear my announcement for your case?
No, ma'am.
So you can't hear a thing.
I couldn't hear anything.
So you cannot hear anything, and you did not appear in person as you were required to do so.
I didn't know that.
I'm going to issue a bench warrant for your arrest.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that part you heard.
I can hear now.
Good. Then you understand that you were required to appear in person with an attorney,
Okay.
and you failed to do so.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I had got a letter and then I thought I could use Zoom. I didn't know.
You were told that you did not qualify for the public defender's office, and you were required to either hire an attorney or choose to represent yourself. So I'm going to ask you one last time. And if you cannot hear, that's entirely up to you. Now, listen very carefully. Since you do not qualify for the public defender's office, what efforts have you made to hire an attorney?
None.
All right. So are you choosing to waive your right to counsel and represent yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
And how would you like to proceed with your case today?
By representing myself.
All right, you have a right to plead not guilty. You have a right to plead guilty or consider a plea offer. What's the plea offer today from the state?
Your Honor, it is for the simple battery, 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day, balance probated, to do the family violence intervention program, and to have no further violent contact with Darian Wallace. For the criminal trespass, is 12 months probation, and it will be concurrent.
How was it a trespass when I was living there?
All right, so there's no plea offer then, if he doesn't even understand what he's being charged with. Mr. Gill, you are going to, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
No more Zoom for you.
Okay.
You are going to come back to court in person on August 2nd at 9 a.m.
Okay.
And if you don't appear in person, we will issue a warrant for your arrest.
Okay.
And when you come back to court on August 2nd at 9 a.m., you can either bring an attorney or you can choose to continue representing yourself. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. August 2nd, 9 a.m. in person only. Thank you. You are now free to go.
Thank you.
Mr. Glanville, I think that concludes our calendar. Thank you.